Hello and welcome. Well, this is my MSI RX 480 video card. Now it's a bit of a, bit old now to be fair. Most gamers would just turn their nose up at this, but it still does actually work quite well for me, and I use it for video editing. Yes, I could do with replacing it, but I can't afford to, because, video cards are extremely expensive at the moment. So what I'm going to do is give it a clean, because it will help its performance. If we can keep the GPUs cool, it certainly will help that performance. So first of all, I'm going to attack it with my airline. You could use something like canned air, such as this, if you want. Anti-dust spray. Ooh. But I'm going to use my airline. And then we're going to use a bit of alcohol as well. Now, we're not going to dunk it in alcohol, completely wash it out. That'd be silly. And also probably wreck it. So first of all, we're going to hold the two fans down, because we don't want them spinning, because this is what will happen if you don't hold them down, they'll start spinning, because they're like little propellers, like little turbines. So we don't want that to happen, because you could damage the motors and the bearings. So we just hold them, and then we just run the airline through. Blowing away any excess dust. This is getting rid of all the loose stuff. Remembering, if you're in a dusty environment or a house with furnishings or an old person, where they kind of start deteriorating and rotting and stuff, a bit of old skin. And it all ends up on your floors, you sweep the floors, the vacuum goes and the filters don't work that well, and it all ends up in the air again, and the computer then draws it all in again. It could be all sorts of stuff. It could be fecal matter from insects, you name it, that's what it could be. People think about dust as just being dust. Oh, it's only dust. What is dust? That's what you have to ask yourself. Where does dust come from? You don't want that in your atmosphere. And you may sit there and, on a nice sunny evening and the sun is low and it's shining in your windows and you can see all those glistening dots in the air in your living room. Well, that's dust. And that dust could be toxic. It could even be carcinogenic. You don't know. It could be rat poo. You don't know. It could be your poo. You still don't know. So there goes my compressor. So I'm going to use a soft brush. Now this is a artist brush, it's a Dayon brush, it's very soft. Just to remove any excess dust from the back of this video card. Just gently. It's a very, very, very soft brush. Well, you've got to remember what I was saying earlier about you do not know what that dust actually is. It could also be a conductor. Dust comes in many forms. It's not just organic material. It could be metals, carbons, all that sort of stuff, which could be potentially, a conductor. And a conductor going across the contacts on anything electronic is not very helpful. Now, while you're doing this job, you should be wearing a anti-static strap, but I'm not, because I'm silly. Because anything you use, for instance, in this case it's a nylon brush, it could build up static electricity and damage your components. And that dust does definitely get up your nose. This made me sneeze. So very gently dust off the fan blades, and if there's anything persistent on there, use a little bit of alcohol. And it could even be just fire lighting solution for your barbecue, and not the gel. That would be silly. Just the clear fluid, which is highly flammable and usually very high percentage of alcohol, usually around 95%. In fact, this one is. That is 95%. 95% ethanol, which is alcohol. So very gently, without putting too much pressure on the fans, you're just dusting off the blades. And by doing that, you are removing weight from those blades, which could throw the blades out of balance. That too makes noise. Now, another place where dust will build up, because remember your computer's got fans in it, and it's constantly drawing dust in and blowing dust out of the computer case. So what you can do is, not much you can do really, other than clean it out, to be honest, every so often. Because unless you can eradicate all the dust in your home, you might not think your home is dusty. But I guarantee you, there'll be dust. Otherwise, you wouldn't be human. Because we give off dead skin cells. They fall off our bodies, end up on the floors. They get ground by our feet and end up into smaller particles. So I'm just going to make sure all the HDMIs are clean. All of them. Actually, they're not HDMIs. They're DVs. Just 2 HDMIs on that one. And a DVI port. You do anything that is going to make a potential cross circuit. I'm going to use a little bit of alcohol onto the connector here. Now, one thing I hate about these GPUs, you know, the graphics cards, is they never ever, not GPUs, the graphics, there's no support at this end of the card at all. So all the weight is hanging on there and on the back here. And generally, they're mounted flat, so they're all hanging. You put the thing under stress and strain. I don't think that's a very clever idea, but that's what we ended up. That's what we got. There's not a lot we can do about that. So I'm just cleaning that off, and I'll use the dry piece and just gently clean it off as well. Make sure you don't touch any of the electronic components because you don't want to put pressure on them or damage them. Look around here. Everything looks good. Now I used this GPU. This graphics card, sorry, it is capable of doing 4K editing. It's slow, but it does do it, because I've done it several times. And we're not just talking about the processing slow, we're talking about actually your machines ends up being slow because it uses the graphics card for like DaVinci Resolve. I use DaVinci Resolve 17 at the moment. But it's quite a good little machine anyway, it's a good card. So that is my MSI RX 480 video card. And it's quite a nice little thing, and it does need periodic cleaning, although it's not as bad as some I've had in the past. No. So anyway, that's my little video of me cleaning my MSI RX 480 video card. And do I recommend it? Yes, if you can get one cheap, I think they're quite a good little card, although I want to upgrade very soon when they come down to a price that I can afford. Oh, there goes my light, that's my cue. So I'm going to say ta-ta, and don't forget to boop that like button. Oh, okay.